Hello everyone, my name is Malin Malanta, and the public health issue that I decided to research on was climate change. To start, what exactly is climate change? Well, it is a sudden change that occurs within the weather. This can be the change in the amount of rainfall that comes each season, or the fluctuation of temperature. Today, public health is threatened by the effects of climate change. Climate change has the power to impact wildlife, the environment, and our lives as well. Data collected by the NASA, satellites, and research facilities have already proven there to be a sufficient amount of damage to the condition of the Earth. These drastic changes include the warming of the ocean, the shrinking of the ice sheets, the glacial retreat, decrease in snow cover, rise in sea level, decline in the Arctic sea ice, and ocean acidification. Since the 19th century, the Earth's temperature has risen about 2.12 degrees Fahrenheit. This increase in temperature has also caused our oceans to rise in temperatures as well, by 0.6 degrees Fahrenheit. So much so that today the Earth stores 90% extra energy in its waters. These damages to the Earth's environment disrupt ecosystems and puts the health of animals at risk. The rapid melting of ice caps has already been detrimental to the survival of polar bears. Stephen Amstrom, which is a chief scientist for the Polar Bears International, predicts that if the melting does continue, the global population of bears could be reduced by 2/3. Climate change also puts our lives at risk as well. With climate change comes the increase of probability of natural disasters, droughts, and higher concentration of pollen. The thought and experience of any natural disaster puts people under lots of stress and anxiety, which we have learned to have negative long-term effects. Less rainfall leads to droughts, which could potentially threaten food production and cause malnutrition. Lastly, the higher concentration of pollen causes people to suffer from more health effects. The photo on the right just displays an example of a drought that occurred in Texas. Here is an old graphic that displays the number of deaths that occurred in the year 2000 because of climate change. Even though this graphic is quite a few years old, it gives us an idea of how severe the effects of climate change can be in certain regions, especially in the rural ones. It was estimated by the World Health Organization that approximately 150,000 deaths occur annually due to climate change. So, what exactly influences climate change? Well, we do. The choices we make impact the health of the planet. Its severity is dependent on the carbon footprint that we leave. Society has undoubtedly evolved over the years, and within that time frame, we have become heavily reliant on the power of fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are what provide us power. They are used to power our cars, provide heat to our houses, electricity, and much more. It is estimated that fossil fuels provide 80% of the world's energy. It is the burning of these gases that is harsh to our environment and is perhaps the primary contributors to global warming and climate change. When burned, they release carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases, which, when left in our atmosphere, can cause the harsh effects that were mentioned earlier. Now, although the evidence for climate change may sound daunting, there are various ways in which we can protect the health of the planet and, in turn, our own health. This is simply by greener living and using more renewable energy. This can be done by choosing to bike instead of drive, recycling appropriate items, using less house heating or AC, and replacing light bulbs for fluorescent ones. If you ever want to determine your carbon footprint, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has created an easy-to-use tool to help you with that. I also provided a link right here, so if any of you guys want to take a picture of this or are curious about what your carbon footprint is, here's a link. There are already a few health programs dedicated to promoting greener living and educating climate change. Established in 2010 is the CDC's Climate and Health program, which works towards helping to prepare communities for the impacts of climate change. Their program utilizes the BRACE's 5-step process, which is shown on the right. There's also the G3 initiative, which helps to establish and guide communities into greener living. Hopefully, with the help of these programs and our choices of greener living, can we protect the health of our planet and others. Thank you. Also, here are the sources that I went ahead and used.